Hello, dear friend. In this video, we'll talk about the upcoming new moon in Virgo on the 6th of September, which will be exact around 9 p.m. Eastern Time. This new moon is triggering the sign of Virgo, and we'll discuss which are the most beneficial things we can focus on, where is the support coming from, because there will be some support, and also from where the potential challenges may show up, because those may also be present. We are also going to talk about each of the signs and how this new moon can affect you. But this time, I want to go a little bit deeper. So I will talk about the life area that you can focus on and that you can really put a lot of energy into, but also where is the potential challenges coming from and where is the potential support coming from. So this new moon is pretty interesting because Mars is also part of it. And Mars is the sign, or actually, it's the planet of taking action. And when Mars triggers something, we feel like we can invest a lot of energy there. It's time to take action, it's time to be proactive. It's also time to take some risks. And Mars in Virgo is not reckless, he's not impatient, he's not too aggressive, but instead he is really hardworking. He is more consistent than usual. And also, he is quite oriented on serving or helping others or being precise. So, one of the important things we need to remember about this new moon is that we need to be of service. Sometimes this may mean serving yourself first and doing the things that are important for you, but also considering what other people need and trying to help them feel better or do something in a different way. And this is very important. This is the Virgo energy, which brings the archetype of the one who truly helps other people. The negative side of the Virgo archetype is the Cinderella syndrome, so to speak, which is about neglecting yourself and forgetting about yourself and only serving other people. This is when the energy is kind of like twisted or too accentuated, or we just don't manage it properly. But when we manage the energy in a more conscious way and we also don't forget about ourselves, we can create meaningful things that may help both other people and ourselves as well. So, a new moon, generally, we know this is a fresh new beginning, a new cycle, which this time, as we said, begins on the 6th of September, and also an opportunity to restart something, like start fresh, like focus on a new direction, focus on something bigger, something that you want to expand. It's almost like planting the seed and then nurturing the seed. So you don't just throw it away and then forget about it and just come a month later and expect for it to be grown up and, wonderful and amazing. Usually that's not how things work. We plant the seed on the new moon and then we nurture it, we water it, we take care of it. So this is very important. It's not just about wishes, it's not just about visualizations, but especially when we have a new moon in Virgo, it's very important to get really practical, to roll up your sleeves and do the real work. We don't have only a new moon, we have a new moon with Mars. So that kind of screams work, effort doing things, not just waiting for things, not just dreaming about things. And this could be a little tricky because, as we may see, Neptune has an opposition with this new moon. And this is where the potential challenge might be coming from. Part of us may want to kind of like get things the easier way, to maybe cut the edges. And it is true that visualization and meditation and setting intentions, all of that is extremely important, but it's not enough, especially when we have such accentuated Virgo energy. On top of that, we actually have 5 planets in Earth signs. So the Sun, Moon, and Mars are in Virgo, Uranus is in Taurus, and Pluto is in Capricorn. So we have 5 Earth planets. Now, the challenge might be that there is no fire energy, no fire planets, which may slow things down. Especially when we have so much earth combined with no fire, it can be difficult to get things fast. So we need to prepare to be not only precise and practical and work oriented, but also to be quite patient and to keep going. So don't fool yourself. Don't fall into the trap of some kind of illusions. This is Neptune. And you have probably heard me say like many times how I'm a huge fan of Neptune, which is totally true. But Neptune may also have a negative side. And around this new moon, we may face more the challenging side of Neptune, which is bringing some kind of illusions, unrealistic expectations, wanting to get things without working really hard for that. So we have this conflict between the Virgo and the Pisces energy. So on one side we have the need to work hard and do things and be engaged with the material reality. And another part of us may want to detach and even hide or kind of like stay in bed and maybe feel sorry for herself and all the other Neptune specialties. But that's not going to help us. This is just something we need to be careful with. We need to be aware of, but we have to keep going. And the good news is that, as I already kind of mentioned, we do have some support coming, and it's mostly coming from Uranus. Pay attention that Uranus has a very, very exact trine with the new moon. So literally less than 1 degree orb. So absolutely exact trine between Uranus and the new moon. This is pretty beneficial. And from one side, it may help us if we feel too stuck with so much earth energy to be more capable of maybe improvising a little bit, trying something different, but in a practical way. So, again, don't let Neptune mislead you and kind of like fantasizing too much without actually doing something about it. One of the main things that Uranus is related to is the truth. And this is like something very big, like the universal truth, or like the highest level of awareness in a way. So by truth, I don't mean, like gossips and which of them is actually true, or what did your neighbors say, or I don't mean this. I mean something more general as an insight. So this is what we should search for. This is what can help us to achieve more and to plant something meaningful. So I will talk more about this for each particular sign and how and actually where this help may come from. So the two outer planets, Neptune and Uranus, are triggering this new moon. Neptune in a challenging way, Uranus in a positive way. So, from one side, Neptune may bring some kind of delusions, misleading information or beliefs. Uranus is the truth. Uranus is kind of like the wisdom. So both of those can be presented to us, and we need to make choices. We need to listen to the right energy, so to speak. Something else which I also want to mention, the fact that Mars is in conjunction with the new moon can actually help or kind of compensate the fact that we don't have any fire energy. So that is good news also. Again, in a very patient way, we need to be very methodological and precise, but again, taking action is definitely important. And Pluto seems to have a positive aspect with Mars. So it's a little large orbis with the new moon, but because Pluto has a trine with Mars indirectly, we may consider it as also providing some kind of help. So some transformation and again, the willpower. It seems like using our willpower will be very important. Mars is also relevant to this. Mars symbolizes our own individual power. So take action in a practical way, focus on something concrete, be specific. What exactly would you like to achieve? And then search for the truth. Sometimes that means also recognizing, as we said, what is not true, what is an illusion, or what might be misleading in a way. Okay, so let's talk about how this can affect each of the signs. And we will start with Aries. So for Aries, the new moon triggers sixth house, which means that you can really focus on work, practical things. You need to be very engaged with reality, with the material world. It's a great time for business projects, for something new work-wise, for paying attention to your health as well. And the illusions or the problems might be coming from 12th house. That's where Neptune will be. Which means that you need to be very mindful about possible subconscious patterns and how sometimes maybe subconsciously you may self-sabotage yourself, or something from the past may still be affecting you. So also don't allow your impulses to be lazy or to procrastinate or to just let things go stop you. You should not listen to those voices. You should be engaged with practical things. The help is coming from Uranus, which will be in your second house, which means that, again, the practicality, the focus on concrete achievements can really motivate you. Also, it could be the motivation to succeed financially. There could be some benefits coming your way, including from the financial area. So I highly recommend you to concentrate on work projects, financial things, and to really invest your time in those practical things. For Taurus, the new moon will fall in your fifth house, which is generally very positive, and it's a great time to concentrate on the things that you love, something that inspires you, something related to creativity or art or your hobbies or your children. Of course, it can also be great for love and romance. And you need to be proactive in those areas again. So if you want a new partner, if you want to fall in love, be proactive. Sign up online or meet new people. So take the action if you want to, for example, date more or fall in love. And the same goes also for creative projects or any hobbies. And the important thing here is to concentrate on yourself and your own desires, because the challenges are coming from Neptune, which is in 11th house. And this means sometimes neglecting your own needs in order to serve other people, or because you feel sorry about someone, or um, because you are afraid you might disappoint other people. So there could be something misleading coming from friends or other people in your social circle. And again, this is just bringing some chaos, and you should not fall for that. You should focus on your own desires. And the help is coming from your first house, which means that you are the one who can help you again. Uranus in first house can help you to be again proactive, to do things in a more original and creative way. So for Taurus, it seems like there's lots of focus on the individual expression, taking action, and also independence. For Gemini, the new moon will trigger fourth house, which means that you can really focus on your home, your personal life, your family situation, anything that has to do also with properties, and perhaps some deeper emotional needs that you need to recognize and respect in yourself. Maybe you need to relax. Maybe you need to stay at home more or pay more attention to your family or pay more attention to how things feel internally. Fourth house is very private. It's about your deeper emotional needs and layers. And the problems or the issues might be coming from Neptune, which is in 10th house, which means that you may try to focus too much on your work or career, or at least this is the area which can bring the potential problems. So don't let people manipulate you, especially authority figures or people who have more power or people related to your work. And perhaps you need to make some kind of sacrifice, but let it be the social area. Because with such a powerful new moon in fourth house, the main priority should be your home, your family, and the people that you love. And also focus more on the internal, not so much on how things look like or what's the image in front of others or reputation. Of course, I don't mean that you should mess up all of those things and like throw it away. Absolutely not. But your main priority should be your home, your family, and your personal life. And the help is coming from your 12th house. So that means listening to your intuition, listening to some kind of internal guidance that you may receive. It may come through a dream, through some kind of idea, through some kind of insight. Sometimes, who knows, it might be an interesting thing you may read or learn about, but this can really trigger your subconscious mind to guide you. So be open for some kind of insights and directions, which may come in a more different way or kind of like a different form, not necessarily something that you would expect. So this may also give you some guidance and insights. Next, we'll talk about Cancer. For Cancer, this new moon will trigger third house, which means that it's a great time to focus on the present moment. What are you doing right now? What are your current plans? And what you are supposed to do in the present moment. It could be relevant to learning some kind of studies, through some kind of new information or skills that you may gain, or creating new friendships, communicating with other people, anything that has to do with information and knowledge, but from a practical perspective. Because the challenge might be coming from Neptune, which is in ninth house. And in this case, it may look like living too much in the future or expecting or dreaming about something that is not relevant right now. So this sometimes is very tempting because, especially if you're not completely satisfied with how things are in the present, especially if you're also a more dreamy type of person, you may escape, you may fantasize about the future, you may expect something to happen, and you are not doing enough in the present. But with this new moon, especially when it also triggers your third house, you have to be practical, you have to be present, you have to be engaged with reality as it is right now. So sometimes those fantasies may come, respect them, but don't let them control you. And don't go into escaping things and too much fantasizing. On the other side, the help may come from Uranus, which is in 11th house. And this can be actually pretty great for some kind of social work, some kind of project that involves other people, potentially a group of people, or others who share similar interests, or something that the community may help you do. So, also, it could be about your ideology and the things that are truly important and meaningful for you. So, 11th house can really help with this. So focus on the things that are really important for you, kind of like something you are idealizing, and also embrace your role as being part of a group. And this can really move the needle for you. Next, we'll talk about Leo. So for Leo, this new moon triggers second house, which means a great time to concentrate on practical results, on concrete achievements, on some kind of benefits, including financial stuff. So take action, kind of like dive deeper into those activities with the idea of what is the outcome you are pursuing with this. So, what would you like to see as a result of your efforts? And that may also be relevant to your health. You may focus on improving your balance of energy or improving your nutrition, This is also pretty good. And the risk or the challenges might be coming from Neptune in 8th house. And this may look like some kind of irrational fears or desire to detach and focus more on invisible things or things that you cannot see, things that you cannot measure, things that may or may not exist. So, especially if you have some more unbalanced emotions or fears, you should not let this stop you. This should not be your your guidance about this new moon. Absolutely not. And the help for you may come from from 10th house. This is where Uranus will be. And this may look like someone who is a powerful figure helping you or guiding you. This may look like career opportunities and success, or improvising, doing something that has importance also for your image, for your reputation. So again, we have positive connection between planets in the Earth houses. So major focus on the practical things in your life, especially career and finances. Next, we'll talk about Virgo. For Virgo, this new moon is, of course, extremely important, and it will trigger your first house. With Mars there, which is the ruler of first house, this is a great time for you to take action. You need to concentrate on your individuality, on taking risks, not in the reckless, irresponsible way. Generally, that's not typical for Virgo as a sign, but uh, you should focus not only on the planning and the preparation, but also on execution and really doing something visible. It could be anything that is important and related to you. And the challenges may come from Neptune, which is in the 7th house. So if you are listening too much to other people, this may not be good for you. If you allow other people to take advantage or manipulate you or mislead you, this may also be a problem. It's not the time to make sacrifices for other people. It's not the time to feel sorry. It's not the time to rescue other people. And usually that would involve mostly your partner or like a really close friend or just someone else who is kind of like important at the time. This may distract you, and you may look at the situation just as a reference because there might be some insights, but you should not let this define your actions. Your actions should be defined by your own desires. And the help is coming from ninth house. Uranus is in your ninth house, which means that your inspiration should guide you. Your long-term goals should guide you. The things that you want to experience in the future should guide you. It's a great time for learning new things, expanding your vision, or embracing a new philosophy. But you also need to be very open minded. Uranus in ninth house means being open to the wisdom of the universe and some insights that you probably have within yourself, but you may need to be reminded of those. So it's a great combination and really, really important for people with Virgo energy. Next, we'll talk about Libra. So for Libra, this new moon will trigger 12th house, which is not necessarily very easy. and it affects the deeper layers of the psyche. So pay attention to your inner feelings, emotions, some kind of memories or dreams that may show up, and define the things that you want to experience or explore internally. 12th house is really important for our psychological stability. So it's a great time to take some action towards feeling more stable internally and finding your inner center and listening to your subconscious. It's not an easy task, that is true, but you definitely need some time on your own. You need some time in isolation. You need maybe a break or just some personal time in order to feel and explore and embrace all of this energy. And the challenge might be coming from Neptune in sixth house, which means your daily responsibilities, your duties, your work, your obligations, or especially if there are people around you who rely on you, who are dependent on you, who are taking advantage of you. They may pull you, they may not consciously probably, but still sabotage you in certain way. So you need to separate from the external world at least for a while. And help is coming from Uranus in eighth house, which means that again you have to connect more to the invisible. You have to explore those topics. You have to let yourself be guided by your own energy, and it may come through some kind of insight, some kind of deep feeling, or something that may show up also from the subconscious mind. So lots of inner work for Libra. Next, we'll talk about Scorpio. So for you, the new moon will trigger 11th house, which means mostly focus on social activities, um, connecting to other people, or doing something for the whole community. And in a way, it's also a dedication to the future, allowing yourself to focus on this future, but this is kind of like the ideal future. So think about it, but again, you need to be precise and more concrete because the energy comes from the Virgo sign. 11th house is just the life area. So you need to be very practical and organized and focus on this long-term vision and something that you idealize, something that's very important to you. Social circles, communication with other people, some kind of group activities also play a major role. And the challenges might be coming from fifth house, which means that perhaps at a certain moment your selfish desires may call, or you may feel like you want something different, or that you just want to have fun, you want to relax. You should not let this distract you. Focus on the more important things. Mm, Pleasure, joy, having fun. Those things are great, but it's just not the time for you. And Neptune can be pretty lazy. Neptune really loves to lay on the beach with a cocktail and listening to nice music and fantasizing, but it's not the right time for you. You need to be more socially engaged with something quite significant. And help is coming from seventh house. Uranus is there, which means that you might be supported by another person. It could be your partner or a dear friend or uh, someone else who is currently present in your life. And they may give you an insight, or they may inspire and motivate you, or they might be kind of like an example for you to follow. So, pretty interesting combination. Next, we have Sagittarius. For Sagittarius, this new moon is pretty important because it triggers 10th house, and this is the most visible house. This is the place where everything is seen by others and it affects others, and it tends to be long lasting. So one of the greatest things you can focus on is your career or business. Be proactive, take action, take certain risks if that's necessary. But also you need to do all of that with lots of integrity, and to be prepared to work hard and consistently in this area. The potential challenges might be coming from Neptune in fourth house, which means that maybe your occasional desire to relax at home may mess up your other plans, or someone at home might be more needy, or might be more attached, or um, might be kind of like a more negative example in a way. So you should not neglect or hurt other people, but at the same time, you should be very clear about your priorities. And I think that you have much more important work to do than to just relax or sleep late or procrastinate. And help is coming for you from sixth house, which means that you can do something really concrete, which can hopefully improve your work, your health, your daily routines, but you need to change something about them probably, because Uranus is the planet of change. And as we also said, the truth and wisdom. So be open to changing something in regards to this area and improvising and being more creative, because that's how you will change also the tangible results. Next, we'll talk about Capricorn. For Capricorn, this new moon is quite positive. It triggers ninth house, and it's a great opportunity to focus on knowledge, on your future goals, on something that you want to manifest in the future, on your beliefs, on your philosophy. Ninth house is truly amazing and positive, and it can be very, very inspiring. So focus on those important long-term goals, on your vision, and be careful because the distraction may come from Neptune in third house, which in this case may look like daily small things that may distract you and take up your time and energy. And you may over focus on those little things and forget about the bigger idea that you are pursuing. So, of course, we can never fully disengage from reality, and that is not healthy, even if we can do it. That's kind of psychotic. But in a healthy way, you should prioritize more the future. Pay attention what's happening, but don't let this define your actions and your priorities. Think big. That should be the main idea here. Think big. And help is coming from fifth house. So the things that you enjoy, the things that you love, your own creativity, your own individuality, your own self-expression, that's what you should concentrate on. That's kind of like your resource that you can tap on. So also It's great for some kind of surprising dates or creative ideas or things related to children. Also, quite positive. Next, we will talk about Aquarius. So for Aquarius, this new moon is not particularly easy because it triggers 8th house. And it might feel a little bit over dramatic. And honestly, I think that you just have to go straight into the mud and search for the diamonds there, so to speak. Mm, we are a little bit used to talk about 8th houses, mostly negative, challenging, problematic, but it is there for a reason. We need this energy. And it's not an easy one, but you can explore things like your fears, your inner blockages, your own frustrations, what needs to be healed, what needs to be released energetically. And that may get you closer to the really important essence of your potential, of your inner diamonds, so to speak. So it's a serious work, but I think that you should dive into it. And the problems or the challenges might be coming from Neptune in 2nd house, which means that you may get the illusion that something in the present life, something in the outer material life is very important, and it's not allowing you to focus on the other stuff that, they are unpleasant and negative. So why engage with them? There are other things that are more important. That, my friends, will be an illusion and only a distraction, and you can just fool yourself. Don't be afraid to look behind the curtain, to dive deep, explore. It can be very transformational. So you should not focus too much on small things in the outer world. Instead, you should dive deeper. And help is coming from Uranus in your 4th house, which means that your family can be a great support. The people that you love, your parents or children or spouse or life partner, may help you and support you. Your inner foundation, getting in touch with who you are on a very basic level, like the connection with your ancestors, for example, like the connection to your nation, if that's important to you. So, searching and finding and reconnecting to your inner foundation, that can be very, very helpful. And finally, for Pisces, this new moon will trigger 7th house, which means that it's a great time to focus on your relationships, your communication with your partner or other people in your life. Perhaps do something together with them, perhaps collaborate or focus on a mutual goal, or just take action together. For someone, this could be a time to start a new relationship or to take some control over this area of their life. And the problem or the distraction may come from Neptune, which is not only the ruler of your sign, but is also in your 1st house. So in some way, you might be the person that may self-sabotage you. You may have some unclear, unrealistic ideas, or perhaps sometimes you might feel a little bit sorry about yourself, or even worse, feel like a victim. You should not let this guide you. You should move on. You should recognize it. Okay, this is my Neptune. That is normal. We don't want to cut this out. It is there. So look at that, but then know what your priorities are. And they are about focusing on the other person, engaging with them, and doing something practical instead of fooling yourself, procrastinating, feeling sorry, avoiding the action, and going into this negative loop. And of course, there is also help coming your way, which is in your third house. Uranus is there, which means that, again, a close friend or someone in your closest environment may help you, or it could be an idea, an inspiration, a vision. So something quite practical and also something related to other people. So this was our new moon forecast. The new moon is in Virgo on the 6th of September. I would love to hear your thoughts. What is this new moon triggering in your chart? What would you like to manifest in your life? And if you want to get a personal reading, you can check the links below or go to marsstars.net. We are also enrolling people for the new training on natal astrology. Again, more about this you can find on marsstars.net or somewhere through the links below. Thank you so much for joining me, and happy new moon to everyone.